This is the Outliers Edge podcast, where we champion the leaders who are shaping the next era of humanity by taking them to the edge of their comfort zone so that they can lead us to the edge of what's next. I'm your host, Niiamah Ashong. Let's do this. Hey there. Oh, I'm smiling just like thinking about saying hello to you all. Hi, my name is Niiamah Ashong. I'm the founder of Outliers Edge, where we champion the leaders who are shaping the next era of humanity. We champion the leaders who are shaping the next era of humanity. I can feel right now just like this wellspring of both energy and excitement because I have one leader here who really calls out a lot of what the next era looks like for me. And it's just like, it's someone that I'm so excited to champion because like what she's doing in the world has always inspired me. And as well, like it's just good for the world. So let's bring her in here. Tina, it's absolutely fantastic to be in conversation with you. How are you today?
Niiamah, thank you so much for the invitation. Thank you for having me. I'm a bit tired and I'm already thrilled and excited about the conversation because when you introduced this episode right now with these 30 seconds, I already was observing myself like smiling from ear to ear, like this little girl.
Yes.
I'm fine. Looking forward to our conversation.
All right. Bring little girl and little woman all the way to this conversation. Let's play with it all here. Okay, Tina, I have been having a lot of fun. I like in my mind, I'm like, I have this topic that we can talk about. I'm going to say this stuff. And then I was like, no, I have to actually give us a chance to come into this room. So I've been having a lot of fun starting our conversations this way. And what I like to do is to let you know who you are to me. And I can feel like some excitement here. I can feel some, not trepidation, like, oh, I feel like there's a lot that I want to pour out. So here we go. All right, let me just take a look at you real quick here. Hey, Tina. So Tina, who are you to me? This is who you are to me. I think that the word bodacious and vibracious, I don't know if vibracious is actually a word or not, but both of those words come to my mind. And when I think of you, firstly, there is that wellspring of energy that comes in. And that's not, and when I think about that, that doesn't happen with everyone. I'm typically an energetic person, but like the experiences with you actually infuse the environment and infuse me in particular with just tremendous energy, the energy to feel that I can do anything, as well as the energy of like how I am is exactly perfect. One of the things that comes in, I look at you right now, but I also see in my mind's eye, a picture of you doing a spin with your hair coming behind you, and this smile of joy as you're doing a bachata, and it's just like easy and effortless, and your connection with your body was like, I'm like, how do you just bust this out in the middle of dinner just because you feel like it, and that image stays with me because it reminds me of two things. One, just like body intelligence, just like how much there is to know about yourself and the vessel that we carry around with us. Like maybe, and it's even my language, like we carry around. You might even look at it very differently, right? But there's that. And then there's also the element of, how do I say it? Just the deeper and deeper levels of self-trust. Like what I get about you is that you're a woman who is you, and that you are relentless in discovering more about you and sharing that out in the world with every single vehicle that is available to you. I respect you, I trust you, and I'm so excited to be in this conversation with you. Thank you for being you.
Thank you, Niiamah. Thank you. I'm highly touched.
Yeah. You don't have to say anything to it. I just want to make sure that I gave you some space to receive it. It's really interesting because I can feel myself as we're talking, just land and be like, no, this is Tina to me. There's some memories, there's some things, but regardless of one moment, this is who you are. And that being said, I told you before we hit record, like, I'm here to evolve who you are to me. But it's not about any specific thing that you're doing. We'll talk about some things that you're doing, but who you are being is so palpable. Not everyone has what you have. And I'm like, and for me, I'm like, I'm just so willing to be in that space to just be with you even more fully. So thank you. I've shared who you are to me in this moment, right? And you're so much more to me overall, but here's just who you are to me in this moment. I'd love to hear from you, like, who you are out in the world here. How either how you see yourself or how others see you, but I want to give some space to like just more of your being.
So first of all, thank you again for your introduction, or it was not an introduction, your reflection. Who am I to you, for you, how you are seeing me? Because yeah, it touched me really deeply, because we are in contact, but so rarely. And you are nailing these things so deeply in the essence of who I am, that it's, yeah, it almost made me cry. I could already see the tears like here. And then, so first of all, thank you for giving me the time and space to receive what you shared, because this is, yeah, touches me. And now you are asking me something where I need words and some.
We can come back to it. Like, I hear you, and like, and the thing, one of the things about me that I found is like, I love for us to be in the experience of it. We both have a coach and mentor in our world who says something along the lines of, people often compare how they feel on the inside to how others look on the outside, you know. And one of my big things that I champion in the world is like let's get them aligned. Let's get them as aligned as possible. So right now, if I'm hearing you, like, you're feeling on the inside, there's no reason that we need to go turn that into something on the outside in this moment. But I do want to, I'll give some space to it. But I also just feel like, as we're talking, like, like, let's do this. Let's call out more of what we're feeling inside. Let's be aware here. I can also feel like, I'm like, oh, I'm talking to you, and I'm gonna like try and raise my own body intelligence. I'm like, I'm paying attention to like what's happening in my pinky toe on my left foot. I'm like, like, I'm really like, I'm like, let's play with all this here. Here goes something that I'm curious about right now. What project or projects excite you the most right now that you're working on?
Good question. Love it. I just had one call today with someone where I shared some of this, because maybe we work together. Am I allowed to mention more than one? So one is very, very, very recent. I mean, my first song, I have already written 5 songs in the last year, and my first song is coming out this week.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Okay, I'm gonna have to ask you, what's the song? By the time this comes out, this might come out beforehand or it might come just afterwards. So tell me, like, what's the name of the song, if you can drop it here, or if I have to wait, let me know.
Of course. It's called Get Naked. And the story behind Get Naked is that 2 years ago, I had this wake up moment, this aha moment of realizing that I was holding on to a fantasy over 20 years in my relationship, and therefore also in my life. And I was waking up to many insights, also like, oh, I'm being an artist instead of working with and for artists my whole life. And I want to dance more, so we're coming soon out of the topic of dance, but dancing and music and being the artist on stage. Like, when I would have to write a book right now, it could be called like From Behind the Stage Onto the Stage, right? It's like, me being the artist, and then writing songs about my own messages and own stories, but with a message for the audience to implement this in their life. And Get Naked is all about being transparent, honest, open, vulnerable, like, first of all, being honest with yourself, because I realized that I was holding on to a fantasy, but also not letting myself in on me. I was dishonest with myself and therefore also with others, and not knowing it subconsciously. And since I changed this, I'm 100% transparent, honest, open, vulnerable with myself, with others. So being total in reality, in the present moment, with myself, sharing it with the world. It was a total game changer. I mean, this is so much more freedom and space and resources, like the energy, what sets free when you start being naked in front of yourself and then with others. No more masks, no pretending, no hiding, no secrets, like nothing. There is zero secret about me and my life, not in the past and not in the future, and what I'm thinking and doing. And this is the topic of this song, because for me, it's so important to give this message to people. All other messages and other songs, yes, too, but Get Naked is all about this.
So Tina, we're gonna explore here. Before we got started, I said there's something about like things that are scary that I really want to like focus in on. And I feel like you may be like past part of the scary part, but like in my mind, a world where you live with zero secrets, no secrets, like not in the past, not in the present, not in the future. Like you're like that. To me, it's like you wear it so well. And as I hear you say that, I can feel like something inside of me that's like, whoa, that's like that twinges on something that feels really either uncomfortable or scary. I haven't been able to tell just yet. So we might want to go down that path in a little bit. I'm pretty curious about that path. Should we go there now, or do you want to tell me about another project that you're doing?
Ooh, me asking the
question. Sorry. One quick question here. Sorry. What is like, how do, like, if someone wants to listen to the song, like, how do they find you? What's your stage name? What's your artist name? What's that?
It's Tina Reimer, so it's my name, and you can find it on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music. You can go on my website. So,
all right, awesome, cool. I just want, like, sometimes I get so deep into who you like are that we miss like the other opportunities. So I want to make sure I slow in on that. So let me just say some things here. If I think I'm getting you right, you've been someone who's like, you've always been like around artists. You've been supporting them. You've been helping them in various ways, from performance to mindset to like, just like, and then the performance and the mindset of performance, all that stuff. Right. And if I'm getting you, this an element of like being in contribution toward those artists. And recently you've been recognizing that, like, wait a minute, like I myself an artist, and it's time for the things that are true for me, the messages that I have to share out in the world. It's time for those to become front and center, and for me to put that out into the world. Let me pause and make sure I'm catching you right here.
100%, and therefore maybe also it's 100% correct. And maybe then we come back to the scary part after, and fitting to what you shared right now. I'm creating exactly what you said. I'm creating now a show. It's pretty organically, but I'm creating a show where I combine all of these things. So I'm taking my own music right now, because in the songs, there are messages I want to bring out into the world by having me, myself, more excitement and joy and fun while transmitting it, and more emotions, more feelings, and we all transform and change by more emotion. Then I want to combine the music and the songs with the dance, because when I'm only one thing, then I'm a dancer. So I don't like labels. So I'm a lot of things, but taking the dance, taking the music, and then taking the coaching, because I will always be and stay a guide and a mentor and a coach, and telling my own story. So taking coaching, storytelling, music, and dance, and putting it in one transformative immersion, let's call it like this. And the mission, vision, intention with the show is that everyone who leaves the show knows that they deserve to go about their dreams. They relearned discovered knew their dreams, because many people have forgotten to dream or how to dream, and maybe put away their dreams. So first of all, getting in touch with their dreams. And it doesn't have to be the biggest one. It can be the smallest thing of, oh, I want to, whatever, have this conversation. I want to quit my job. I want to go into the world trip. I want to start singing, whatever it is, like one thing you love to do, but you haven't done it so far. And then knowing I deserve it. I can do it. I'm capable of. And, oh, she gave me also the tools and techniques how to do it. Like, right? It's this empowerment, encouragement, motivation, and hope. Wow, yeah, actually, this is what I want. But how? And she gave me the mindset and the tools and the empowerment of, this is what I really want. This is the goal of the show. Yeah. As you can see, I could talk for hours.
Like if you couldn't talk for hours about it, Tina, I'd be like, this is not the project. Like I would have to be honest with you on that. I'm like, if all you can say is just a quick elevator pitch and that's all you got, then I'm like, yeah. Right. But I think that's important, right? Like I can tell that this is calibrated really strongly to like, hey, out of all the things that I could be doing, I'm talented in so many different ways. You talked about many different ways that you could be, many different labels that others could put on you, right? Yeah. And what I'm hearing from you is like, this is like a masterpiece in tribute to all of you. And done, it's a masterpiece in tribute to all of you, done in service for everyone else. Right? That's what I'm hearing here. And I like, I'm excited for the show. I have a thing, I'm a meta thinker. So like when I hear something, it's not just what gets done, but how it gets done, like what the actual creation of it actually represents, that hits me the hardest. So when I'm hearing you say this here, what I'm feeling is like an integration of all the various parts that are you, an integration of all the different, like again, at your core, you're a dancer. Like if I had to be one thing, it's this. But like, and there's all this here. Everything's built like from and around that, right? Built on top of that. But I'm just hearing this true integration of all these different things. And what's happening, as you're saying, is like I'm imagining the different tools and techniques and inspiration that I get from it, but then also imbued almost within it. It's like the unspoken fabric, or it's like I sang in barbershop chorus, so 4 people will be singing, but you'd hear 5 or 6 notes. You're like, where did that come from? Right? The areas of extra resonance, it seems to, like, for me, would be like this extra story of like, this is how to be like free and integrated in the world without having to compartmentalize yourself or hide things from yourself or others. Like if you're doing this, like this was a choice made by someone who is coming from that place. All right. This is me in this moment here. How, like, what's coming up for you as I say that?
So to understand it right, like what's coming up in me.
Yes.
With regard to the question of who am I in this context you described?
Just what's coming up in you right now. Like it could be like, I'm hungry. Like I'm like that's totally fine. I have no, like, in my world, I'm like, I have no interest in being right 100% of the time. I love being wrong. And like sometimes I'm boring. Sometimes I'm talking about something that isn't important. Right. So like if you're feeling that, like, then we go to wherever it is. But yeah, my general sense was just like, yeah, I said some things. Like what are you feeling right now?
I'm very how would you say it? I have a German word right now because I have this mixture.
You can say it in German. That's okay for me too.
Ausgefüllt. But it's like, and it's funny because I have always 3 languages since I'm traveling 2 years, and I have always English, Spanish, and sometimes German. And no language is anymore really fluent. I'm speaking, I think, Spanish, English, German. It's like I'm filled up with, it's like my whole body is filled. Right? It's like there is so much, because when we are talking about these things, what lights me up the most, besides the fact of dancing and music, but in my things, and you are so amazingly describing the thing and reflecting the things, and you're getting it so in the essence. Like, it's amazing because I need so much more words always. Like, it's the masculine and the feminine, but you're so awesome and nailing it down that it lights me up with, like, it's so potent and so rich, and therefore I feel so lit up in the topic and the project, and I see it and I feel it, and I have someone in reflection. This is what's present.
When you say that takes me to there's a few things that come when it says that there's a part of me that like smiles on the inside. It's like my heart is smiling because I'm like, all right, if this is just like 1% more energy that you can use toward this product or the other products or whatever it is, like, because it's in the difficult times as well as the good times, then like I feel really, really good. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it here. I'm excited because I get that you can do the production things. I get that you can do the music and the dance thing. Like, it is you, and you are so good at it. Like, again, like when I saw this like turn on there, I was like, she isn't even trying, y'all. She's just dancing. She's just having fun. Like, she isn't even trying, you know. So it really strikes me when I think about, when I hear what you're saying, when I hear about this journey you've been on, especially for the last 2 years, and like coming out of the fantasy and like saying, okay, now I'm going to see things as they truly are, like as real as they possibly can be. And like, we're not going back to fantasy. So guess what? No secrets, no, like, there's no hiding, there's none of that. It's going to be real with what's here. When I think about how that gets infused into everything you do, and then put into a work with a specific mission, like, and a vision in mind, like, I get excited because I've been realizing how, like, yeah, it's that I'm really trying to find the right word. Someone probably will know it and be like, the word you're looking for is this, but yeah. But it's that extra element that goes underneath. I like, to me, it's like operating in a different dimension. It's like, it's the difference between watching, like looking at an original painting done by an artist, and then like looking at a copy, a replica of it, right? It's like, it's for many people, just looking at it, it's the same thing, you know. It feels good, but then there's something else about being in the presence of the original that takes on a different life of its own. And that's what it's that level of quality that I feel like is coming through. It's not that you're putting on like a show or performance or like a training, or it's none of those things, right? For me, it feels like this is you brought into a wonderfully, like, I use the word masterpiece specifically, like, it's not like, I'm like into a wonderful connection of all this stuff here. That really excites me. And I get very excited for people who go through this experience. I know it's growing out in an organic way. Know that I'm in your corner around this. Like, however I can be, I am there. Even if it's just like a 30-second call one day, or like a text or whatever it is. Like on all the scale, I'm there for you. All right.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Niiamah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate this. I appreciate it.
So, Tina, like, there's an element here of, we're talking about what you're doing, but I'm also focused on like who you're being as you're doing it. All right. A while back, you talked about like no longer living in fantasy, and you also talked about having zero secrets. Both of those things were like interesting to me, you know. And like, I've now trained myself that like, if it's interesting, I can put it into the room, but it doesn't mean we have to go there. So let me ask you, just based on where this conversation is going, based on like what feels like it would energize you, like, what is something that we should bring into this conversation that may not be here yet, or was a place that, like, basically, where do you want to take this conversation? We'll explore from there, but where would you want to take the conversation?
I'm totally open to explore this because it excites you and you are curious and interested. So let's go there. All about scary and secrets, no secrets, putting off the mask and all this kind of. I love talking about it.
All right, then let's just do that. Because like you're like I have zero secrets, and like the first thing in my mind, like, coming from you, I'm like, all right, no. I have to be really honest. Like, I'm like coming from you, and like I totally believe it. I'm like, no. The first thing I was like, BS, like bullshit, like no secrets. Like, how? And then like, as you kept talking, I'm like, I started to believe you. That like, and that's when things got scary for me. You know, it was easy for me to like this, like be like, oh, that sounds good. Like she's like an enlightened person in the world. She's like, I have zero secrets, totally, you know. And as you kept talking, like the way I'll describe it is like your presence, your being like came more and more and more like in focus for me. And like became like the gravitas of you just like started taking up more room here. I was like, oh no, I think she's like really truthful about it, you know. I don't need to know your secrets, right? You don't have any, so I guess like that. But I mean, I don't think we need to go down that path per se. To whatever extent, but we can. Okay.
Whatever you want to ask, because what's for you present and curious and juicy to know, like, okay, now she has no more secrets, but maybe what was your secret, or what was scary to share, or what was were you hiding, or whatever comes to your mind, what you're curious about. I don't know.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Tina. So like there's I'm calibrating in. I am curious about those secrets, right? Because it's just like tantalizing, you know. What I'm checking in is as much as as much as I'm curious about that, I think I'm more curious about like the how you came to do it. Your secrets are not my secrets, so it's not scary for me to hear your secrets, right? What's scary for me is to be in a space with someone who holds those secrets. Like what I'm checking into is like, how would that like extract me? Like what would it be like for me to live a zero secret world life, you know? So like let's do this here. Let's take some time. Let's give it a little bit of space. Let's take some time here. I want to explore that, like the process of getting here. It might be best to do it through something that used to be a secret for you that now has now come out. But I'm more interested in the process than in the actual like, oh, the juicy what's here now, you know. But like, that being said, I also recognize like I am someone who still has secrets. Like as much as I'm like, yeah, like, so I am not the one that can necessarily navigate us down this path. I don't know it yet. And that I have to put up front here. So
yeah,
here's my intention. I think you're seeing like what I'm really about here. I don't necessarily know the path to get it, but I am really, really curious about like what it would be like to like have that power for myself. So would you mind just sharing, like based on wherever you're being led to that, whatever you have to share with that?
Oh, this is the next thing where I could talk for hours, because it was the biggest change for me in general. We can put the title freedom over it. And this moment where I got to see that I was not honest with myself and holding on to a fantasy, and then realizing, okay, I could keep on holding on to this fantasy about my relationship for the next 30 years, or I can now say this is over and we decided to have a conscious breakup. Then I could see, okay, you've done this job like supporting others 20, 30 years, but now it's time to step forward into your own artist being. You always wanted to travel more and live in Germany. So then now actually this is the time to do it. So this moment where these key moments in our life, this realizing what you have done to yourself and how you lived, and then saying like, okay, this is over now. Now we have.
I have a question now. I think like this is how we're gonna do it. Okay, I would love my questions. Are you good with that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, cool. So you talked about like you were living like you realized like you were thinking about a fantasy. You're living in a fantasy, right? Describe to me quickly, like what was a fantasy? Like what were the components of that fantasy for you?
The fantasy was that I was hoping, waiting, desiring that some things in our relationship will change at some point in this lifetime. Because we loved each other deeply, and we still do, but now it's more a family friendship love. but I was always hoping and desiring and waiting for the change because I knew that this potential is in this person. And I loved him. And of course, we had many, many things in common and beautiful times. It was not a horrible thing. Because I'm this then going into this fantasy thing instead of being in reality and seeing, okay, it hasn't changed over 20 years. How if we see this won't change? And it was about money, it was about sexuality, it was about dreams, it was about success. So these were our topics and challenges. And we can go into these deeply, no secrets. I can talk about sexuality 1 hour. I can talk about money. I can talk about whatever, like all these things. But I was seeing that I was still hoping and waiting that at some point in our life, this will change because he has the potential to be this person I want to have on my side. But I still could keep the fantasy, or I realized it won't happen.
Okay. Now I'm like, we might go down in this here. We have until the top of the hour, so we may not go there today.
Yeah.
But it's also like, and Tina, here's what I'm going to say. Like, I'm going to try and have no secrets with you. I'm just like, there just may be places where I'm just like, not like, I'm protecting myself from places that I don't know how to go down, you know? So like my thing here is like, don't wait for me. If you feel like this needs to come in, just put it into the conversation. Mm-hmm. Don't wait for me. Turns out I can be there with you. But sometimes I'm just gonna put that out here. Like that's me being in a space of practicing no secrets, or at least less secrets right now. Right. Mm-hmm. Yes. Any of that really important for us to continue down?
No, it's fine. So
okay.
This
okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then so now you're like, and then I realized, right? How, realistically, like, how did this come about? Because you'd gone for 20 years from like you'd been building a life with someone, like you were living the fantasy. And what I'm getting is that like things were solid, but like the reality was not the fantasy, and the potential just kind of kept staying in the world of potential. And then it shift. But you were invested. You were like your life was around this person. There's still a lot tremendous love for the person there. And something shifted. So like when you say that this, you realized element, like I get really curious about like what led to that, what brought you into that space there to like be able to see your world differently for like after 20 years of actually living it.
Probably it was the peak point. So 5 years ago, or before, so it was 2 years ago, but 5 years ago. So 7 years ago, I was separating for the first time, but totally coming from lack, like escaping, no more energy. I can't stand this anymore. I want something else, but I can't. I don't have any more energy. And then 6 months later, I came back and we did a second round for some years. But then 2 years ago, I was working with another mentor. And we had these healing sessions, and we were into the experience of 1 week, deep transformative work. And in this week, it came to me, like it had to do with another mentor and sessions and healing sessions and realizing stuff. And then it came to me. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I want to call that into the space here where it's like it wasn't just like an intellectual choice here. It wasn't just a thing here. It was like there was a journey that you went on.
Yeah.
And if I'm also getting, it wasn't even like the insight that you thought you were going to get. It wasn't the reason you were there. No? Yeah.
No. So it was good, as always. I mean, we both are coaches. It was good that someone was there and then saying like, hey, don't overthink it. It will happen anyway. And you're safe and you're fine. But it was good to be in conversation around this in such an environment, and then seeing it clearly to, having all these deep insights and saying like, okay, whatever is scary right now, to have another conversation about having a breakup and all what comes with it, and the whole change in your business. And like, yes, these were moments where you feel like fear or scarcity or anxiety coming up.
Question: how did changing the business tie to relationship? Like they feel like it could be different world.
Yeah, it all came to at the same time that, okay, there's this breakup needed, and me being an artist, And then what does this mean, like with my whole other
I get
thing?
you.
Like, all of it was in the same week. Yeah.
Got you. So if I'm hearing you, there's like a bit of like just a total like reinvention, like total shift of you, like, and it's like, oh, for where I'm heading to now, like this is out of alignment. This no longer works. This like and there was a kind of a reckoning that needed to take place. Then am I getting that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
100%. It was this whole, okay, this is me. This is me. This is me. And therefore, I was holding on to fantasy. I was not on with myself. I had these masks, and also realizing through this healing work that I got raised. My mom, of course, she wanted to give me all the love, and like this little girl, Tina, who was raised like only being happy was accepted. As soon as she started crying or having pain or whatever, like, oh God, oh my God, how can I solve this? And don't cry, da, 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 da. But then it's about human design. We don't go into this path, but knowing also from this perspective that I'm designed to have a 24-hour emotional wave and not having lived it so far until 2 years ago. And that I'm designed to experience all the lows and frustration and anger and fear and whatever, like tears and sadness and melancholy and all of it. But I never lived it. So I was not letting myself in on me with all of these emotions because I got raised that only being happy is accepted and is the state to be in. So this was one other aspect, and therefore also a song is written, All the Tears I Never Cried, because in the last 2 years I cried more than ever before and I love crying. So all of it, like realizing I was someone totally false. I was upholding a false image. Yes, then also, of course, in a relationship, but first of all, with myself, in myself, like me being not who I am. And this was this wake up call of, I'm someone completely different. Yeah.
I'm recognizing here, Tina, a couple of different things. Firstly, I'm grateful for you because in our conversation, you helped me be able to walk down the scarier path more often here, right? We're about to wrap up our conversation given time. So wrap up this conversation. And like so much of me is like, oh, there's so much more to go, right? And that's because you have depth. That's because you have depth and that you are open to going down there. You know, I think there's a lot of just like I know that space and time is necessary to really serve justice to anything, especially if you're like, look, I'm willing to let you see it all. I'm like, okay, we really need to give some space and time for that. So I might reach out again and have a different conversation with you. Yeah. And I think if we did do that, again, there's a part of me that's like, it's not about the secrets. It's about like the experience. Like, cause I do feel you more deeply as you start talking about it. I feel you more deeply than when I just like hear like, and then I had the transformation, you know? And so there's a part of me that's like, oh, okay, actually, we need to give time and space to these parts of the story so that they can breathe and be out in the world so that we can like feel, connect and be confronted with ourselves. Cause I feel like that's what I'm getting right now, especially we're wrapping up the conversation, but I'm getting right now. I'm like, oh, that's what it was happening. I'm being confronted with like my own level of commitment to myself, the questions that I'm asking myself are, where am I living in fantasy in any part of my life? Right. The questions I'm asking myself are, where am I? What are the secrets that I have right now? I didn't all I knew is that I had secrets. I don't I don't know what they are. That's not totally true. I think there's two that came to mind, you know, but like, there's a part of me that's really like deeply curious about that for myself in here. So let's wrap this up here with two things. If there was oh, and then I have to say this other thing, the part of like just knowing your design, because I hear like you not fighting you, even though that was what was installed in you, and instead just allowing yourself to be on your own natural, like as you were meant to be kind of path. So we opened up a lot of things. I love it. You know, we're gonna leave most of those doors open right now. Let's do this here. Tina, I really respect you. My heart is like with you right now. Thank you for opening up that channel. there's going to be some people out here that want to continue the conversation, that want to know more, that want to be with you on your journey, but also are like, hey, I would love to like break out of my fantasies. I would love to like just be able to be in this moment with what's real and be secret free, because my secrets are burdening me, and I no longer want to go on like this. I want that freedom. If someone wanted to continue the conversation with you, how can they best reach out to you or be in touch?
Yeah. Thank you for the question. Maybe as a short wrap up, as you said, like I could talk about hours because there is so much depth to it, as you said. And yes, I'm a pretty deep person. So with me, you only can go deep. Everything else is definitely not interesting for me. And what is the outcome of all this work? If someone interested, it's not about the secrets. It's not about not living in fantasy. It's about living your full truth. It's about finding out who you truly are. It's about living your true dreams. What are your dreams? Who are you truly, deeply to your essence? And then seeing like what is coming out of it as you strip away all the masks and pretending and secrets and fantasy, blah, 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 how much energy you gain, how much freedom you gain, how much more, I don't know, you raise your frequency, your aura, your radiance, like your whole being gets you. And then you have access to all what you are here to do for, and not keeping up these whole other stuff. Like, I can talk for hours. So if someone wants to experience this and want to have a conversation with me, the account where you have the most recent stuff, or where I'm most active, is Instagram. So probably there are some show notes in, and they can check it, or wherever.
Tell us what it is, because sometimes I don't do show notes, and like I know for me, I'm always listening. I'm like, if I hear it, I'll do it. I'm like, I rarely go to the notes, so just tell us where to go.
Okay, it's easy because my name is Tina Reimer, so it's Reimer. And when you put this in Instagram, tinareimer.com, or you go to my website, tinareimer.com, also in English. And then you can book their calls or directly sessions. Let me think, is there another one? It makes sense. YouTube, Spotify, my music on Spotify, but this is not about the conversation. So I think Instagram and website is the best thing to have a conversation with me.
Well, I'm gonna put out there too. Like, go on a spot, like, because there's two different things. I said, how can someone go and have a conversation with you? Continue the conversation, and then you said, like, if someone wanted to experience me, and I think that, like, I'm really glad that you took it to that level, right? Because I think that's ultimately what I care about, right? Continuing the conversation is a low-hanging fruit. Yeah, go follow her on, like, go listen to her on Spotify. Allow yourself to experience, like her new single's coming out this week. It may be out by the time you listen to this. Find her on YouTube. Like clearly she's influential in the world. You can find her by her name, right? And then there's something even deeper. And what I'm hearing from you is that you're also offering to people, like, if they're looking to really experience you, they can go to your website, and there are some offerings and opportunities for them to, I guess it's not even just experience you, but to experience themselves, to experience, if they want to experience what it is that you said, like, this is the real end result. It's not about not having secrets. It's not about not living in fantasy. It's about something much, much bigger. As a result of that, as a byproduct of that, yes, I'm out of fantasy. Yes, I don't have secrets, but that's not my goal. My goal is living in my full truth. And
yes, yeah, exactly.
Perfect. And so if I'm hearing that for someone who has that as a goal, someone who wants to go through that experience and know what it's to go through the experience of living life as they were designed and beyond, like, they can come and go to your website, and they can engage in the conversation and have that experience with you. Am I getting that right?
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Tina, you're an incredible force to be with. I enjoy every moment with you. Thank you. Thank you for being you. We will continue our conversation as well, and we'll take things from there. All right. Much love.
Love it.
Be well.
Thank you, Niiamah. Thank you for having me.
We're just getting started. Take 10 seconds to think about your greatest insight from today's conversation. And if you're ready to go and bring this to a deeper, more applicable level for you, come and join us in an upcoming masterclass. Go to outliersedge.com/masterclass to be coached live and to bring your aspirations, your goals, and your challenges and have them handled in real time. This is high flame, high impact, high transformation. Go to outliersedge.com/masterclass and come experience your next level of leadership.